Manford Elliott, born in 1930, had a rich heritage of a cowboy lifestyle. His father and his father's father were a great influence in the way which he chose to spend his days. He was a third-generation cowboy and lived up to the legacy set before him. In 1881, Bill Robertson, Manford's grandfather, set out from South Texas with a trail herd headed north. And so, the story begins. The Robertson Ranch was established in 1884 as Bill settled in Baylor County. This is where Bill married and became the father of 6 daughters, one of which was Vernon. She met and fell in love with cowboy Manford Elliott, who worked there on the ranch. In 1914, they married. They returned to the Robertson Ranch to build their home at Mary's Creek. It was at the Robertson Ranch that Manford was born. He, along with his sister Martha and half-brother Pat Telefero, a Texas Ranger, were raised in this home by a mother who wore many hats. Not only was she a dedicated mother and homemaker, but could also hold her own astride a horse. Since her father had no sons, she had been raised to be a good hand and oftentimes helped her husband in his work. Buford taught his son the old traditional ways of cowboying and of being a good hand, stockman, and steward of the land. Raised as he was, Manford acquired the affinity to spend his life with cattle and horses. At the age of 16, Manford married his high school sweetheart, Ann Gilbert. From their marriage came 5 children who, in turn, remained in the ranching community to raise their own children in this lifestyle. Punching cows was all Manford had ever known. He worked the Dameron ranches in Texas and Colorado until 1955, when Manford moved his young family to the Fulda camp on W.T. Wagner's estate in Vernon, Texas. At close to 500,000 acres, Wagner's was the largest ranch in Texas under one fence. It wasn't unusual at the Wagner's for the wagon to pull out for 6 months at a time while having 250 head of horses in the remuda. In 1966, and after 10.5 years at Wagner's, Manford Elliott was asked to join the Texas and Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association with an appointment as a special Texas Ranger. The family moved into town, Seymour, Texas. He had 13 counties in his district, which included large famous ranches such as the Wagners, 4 Sixes, Pitchforks, Morehouse, Swinson's, Muleshoe, Matadors, Spades, Beggs, and Tongue River. Even before joining the TSCRA, he had always admired the generation of brand inspectors that had grown up ranching and went on to use their cowboying skills in investigations of stolen livestock. He attended most shippings at large ranches on horseback, traveling with his bedroll if he needed to stay for several days. In 38 years, he had only missed one Wagner shipping. After retirement from the cattle raisers in 1995, Manford continued to stay busy in the ranching world by day working for several ranches across Texas and New Mexico. He worked cattle many times with his children and grandchildren until the age of 71. Even then, he would stay at the wagon when there were several days of work to be done. In 2000, at the age of 70, Manford was honored with the prestigious Texas Ranch Roundup Trailblazer Award. Always a noted and kind humanitarian, Manford hauled, donated farming and ranching equipment and supplies to Hurricane Katrina victims in Louisiana. He had spent countless hours and driven many miles personally gathering up these items from ranching friends in his district that he served. This was an endeavor he took upon himself to help his fellow man in need. Manford Elliott was truly a cowboy's cowboy. A student of Western and Texas history, He was proud of his Texas and cowboy heritage and continued to adhere to the traditional cowboy ways. In 2007, Texas sadly lost a great Texas cowboy after a brief battle with cancer. Manford Elliott will always remain a true cowboy legacy to every cowboy, rancher, and stockman within the Lone Star State.